Order in the court!
Sir, you're out of order.
What's going on, Spurs Nation? You're watching OOC, that's Order on the Court Mailbag Show, right? This is the Saturday version. Sundays comes out tomorrow. Just want to give you guys a quick reminder to go to oocspurscom to check out all of our subscriptions and all the levels that we have. The NBA is back and the OOC is coming with it, and we got a lot of content coming for you guys, like post-game shows and live watch parties where you can watch the game live with us, right? All that. We have subscriptions as low as $1, $5, $15 for the ones that really put on for OOC. But let's get to the mailbag. The first question comes from DM Josie, and DM Josie on Instagram writes, can you explain a bit more about the season starting up? Yes, Josie, we can. The Spurs are going to have, along with everyone else, from my understanding, 8 games, right? 8 regular season games to qualify for the play-in tournament, right? So from my understanding, it's San Antonio, Phoenix, New Orleans, Memphis, that are fighting for that final spot in the Western Conference. Now, there's going to be a play-in tournament from the 9th seed and the 8th seed to try to take that spot. Now, if the 9th seed is less than 4 games, I believe, from the 8th seed, so if they're only 4 games behind or less, that means that there's going to be a play-in tournament for that spot, and it'll be like the best 2 out of 3 or something like that for the 8th spot. Now, what I don't really understand is, what if there's more than one team that are within 4 games? And I don't know if that's statistically possible, but I believe so. I believe it can be, because most of these teams are 4 games or 5 games out of the playoffs right now, right? So San Antonio has 8 games. Let's talk about the Spurs for a second. San Antonio has 2 games against Denver, 2 games against Utah, 2 games against New Orleans, and a game against Memphis and Sacramento. Now, on every Tuesday leading up to this restart of the season, me and the guys from the OOC are going to be doing matchup previews, right, to get you guys ready for our post-game and watch party reactions, right? And which you can go to oocspurscom to get your memberships now. But the Spurs are going to have to play those 8 games. Now, if the Spurs right now come out ahead of those 8 games, if they come out better than 4-4, then we should be underneath a game. Then we should be within 4 games to fight for that 8th seed. Now, I just don't know how other teams. This is going to be all new for everyone. Now, so Josie, like, no one has all the questions, but I know I looked at those games and I kind of put my optimistic hat on, and I'm starting to think about, what the Spurs can do in this style of play, which we're going to get to in a little while in one of our next questions. But as far as I'm concerned, the Western Conference is going to have those bottom 5 teams battling it out for the 8th spot, and the Eastern Conference is really only going to have 9 teams, where the West has 13, I believe, fighting for 8 playoff spots. The Eastern Conference is going to have 9. They're going to have Washington in the mix. So, I mean, that's a little bit more. I mean, I've got that. I read that off of Jeff Garcia's Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. He put an article out yesterday about the remaining, about all this, that's going to happen with the Spurs. So go check that out. Maybe you can get a little bit more out of it than I can. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm worried about those 8 games. I'm worried about only losing 2. A lot of people put the Spurs to go 4-4 or maybe 5-3 in those 8 games. Now, let me give you a little preview of how I see these 8 games playing out. I think that the Spurs are going to be able to handle Sacramento. I think that the Spurs are going to be able to handle Memphis. Memphis beat us like 2 or 3 times in the regular season. I don't see that happening again. Okay, it's just very hard. And they're a young, good team, but I feel like if we're only going to play those 2 teams once, that that we'll be okay. Now, New Orleans is a team that we're going to play twice, and I feel like we should be able to handle both of those games. Now, I know Zion Williamson, the last time they played us, he went off. Remember that game? He was just knocking down threes, and he was just going all types of crazy on us in New Orleans. But that's a young team, and the veterans on that team don't have a lot of experience together. And so I'm going to hold that to an advantage the Spurs way. Okay, because I see the Spurs being able to handle both of those games where there is no home court. Remember, we're in Orlando. We're not in New Orleans where everyone's going crazy. There's people in the stands. No, this is going to come down to strictly basketball execution. And I think the Spurs have a leg up in many regards against a lot of these other young teams like New Orleans and Memphis. Utah, we played well against them both times this season. We split with them. I see us splitting again with them. And then the same thing goes for Denver. Denver played really well. We played a couple of really good quarters against the Denver Nuggets this year, but I think that this, style of situation, best case scenarios, we're going to split with Denver. So that puts my prediction at 6-2, only losing one game to Utah and one to Denver. You guys let me know what you think. If you agree with me or not, you can put the comments down below. Meanwhile, since I got you here, go to Twitter, Instagram, go to @BuckingSpurs, go to oocspurscom and follow us on social media there. All right, so let's go on to the next question. Next question comes from Legueria _illustrations. His question is, what lineup change needs to happen in order for the Spurs to succeed in the NBA restart? Well, there's a lot of people out here that say, man, we got to let the young guys play. We got to let them go. But let me tell you what, man, I feel like veteran leadership and experience in this situation kind of trumps youth and athleticism and potential. In other words, I was on the boat beforehand. I've gone on record saying that, I don't think the Spurs are going to play Rudy Gay and Patty Mills that much if we come back. That was before knowing what the situation really was in the NBA. So I feel like coming back into this arena and this world of unknown and unfamiliarity where none of the players are going to be used to it. There's going to be no fans in the stands like we talked about earlier. And I think when it comes to lineups, as this question asks, I think that ironically, I don't think we do anything that different. I think we need to play Patty Mills, the fourth most minutes on the team. I feel like Rudy Gay needs to step up. We need Rudy Gay to step up, and we need him to kind of lead and be able to control the game within the game, which I think he does very well. Sure, he didn't play all that well offensively this year, but he can definitely make the right decision. He's super smart. He's a veteran. He's been around for a long time. So I think that veterans on our team are actually going to come up pretty big for us in this tournament. So I wouldn't see many rotations changing drastically. If anything, I see Keldon getting more minutes, and that's about it. That's just because that was already a trend that was happening towards the end of the season, because defensively he's able to guard the best and adjust and get burned and then recover the next play. He's able to do a lot of those things. So I see Keldon getting a lot more minutes, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Our next question comes from Cody Delgado. He responded to our sticker, and his question is, in your opinion, should the NBA have gone to a different route as opposed to the 22-team format? I honestly think yes. I think that the NBA should have gone with that FIBA style pool play-in type of layout format, that was put out there. I like that format. I think that's something that the NBA needs to incorporate into the league somehow. I think changing it up is a good idea, and I think just for the sake of closing out this season, I feel like this 22 team opt-in and play-in tournament for the playoffs, I think that's as familiar as it can get for everybody. I feel like everyone kind of understands this and how it will play out. if we do the FIBA route, who knows where the advantages and disadvantages lie because it's so new. We've never done that. So I think like to close off this season, it's important for the league to put out a product that's going to be easy to understand, right? I think the general NBA fan needs to be able to understand what is going to happen, and I think for the most part, NBA community is pretty smart, but I think this 22 team format is actually the best way to go for the ending of this season. Now, moving forward, if we were to experiment with different options for the regular season play, I'm all about that FIBA style pool play tournament. To me, that's awesome stuff. All right, so that's going to be it for Saturday's mailbag. We got Sundays coming for you tomorrow, so stay tuned. Make sure to click the subscribe button, all that stuff down there. Put your comment in the description below. Your question might get on the show. Go to our social medias. You can find me at Bucking Spurs. Go to oocspurscom. We'll catch you on the next episode. Go, Spurs, go.